Reality is a construct of perception. Carl is a construct of coffee and bad life choices. Here they meet in Carl versus Reality.
Hello and thank you for joining me for another exciting episode of Carl vs. Reality. How's it going? Do you know, I've been doing this thing in the morning called morning pages. It's when you get a journal out and it's first thing and you just write down whatever comes to your mind. You try and fill up 3 pages and then it's basically a conscious stream before things sort of set in, like, you know, the news or other things sort of set in. So the idea is that it's basically your subconscious at its strongest. And it's actually really, really fascinating. It is the stuff that comes up. But what I found is a lot of regressed things, like, not regress, what's the word? Sort of deep down things that I've forgotten about just sort of pop up, and these weird thoughts and all that kind of thing. It's almost like a therapy where I'm basically uncovering all this stuff that I didn't realise that I still thought about, you know, subconsciously. And it's actually made me thinking maybe I should go to counselling. You know, there's a lot of shit going on in my head. Maybe I should do that. I'm not, you know, that's not a joke, by the way. I'm genuinely considering that. But one of the things that popped into my head was the whole, the fact I've always felt very uncomfortable around blokes. What I mean by blokey bloke is basically, I was raised in the 90s, and that was the whole time of lad culture, where it was all basically just blokes being arseholes, objectifying women, being drunken louts, and just being the whole alpha male bullshit thing. That whole thing. I wasn't raised like that. I wasn't raised to be competitive. I was raised to just be there for a good time. It's not about winning. It's, you know, all that kind of thing. Not you know, just being respectful, not being a dick, more or less. And what's strange, obviously I grew up in a time when that was rife and it was expected and all that, you know. But luckily I was also alive in the time when it's sort of dwindling a little bit. It's not going to go away ever, but it has gone down, and I hope that, you know, as a bloke, that I am doing my best to try and, you know, call out that kind of shit behaviour and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, it's never going to go away. But the thing is, like, when sort of the blokey atmospheres and all that kind of stuff, I just don't do well in that kind of situation. When there's just a bunch of blokes, it's just, I just can't get my head around. I just can't get my head around it. Like, I've had to deal with recently quite a lot of contractors at work, and they're all sort of like blokes, and all that kind of stuff, like laddie sort of, you know. I just don't really know. It can be quite intimidating, you know. It is an intimidating like place to be when people are like that, and you know, it's just. Yeah, and the weird thing is, though, as I've gotten older, I find it less intimidating because I just think these are just idiots, kind of thing. It's just this weird idiotic behaviour, and you know, one of the main places that I've experienced this sort of lads sort of thing is pub toilets, and pub toilets as a general are a bit of a mixed bag, you know. They could be like immaculate or anything like that, or they could literally be like hell on earth. All kinds of stuff goes on in those places, and I'm one of those people that I don't know what it is. I've got a shy bladder. I can't use urinals or urinals, however you want to pronounce it. I'm saying urinals. Basically, that place you piss in. You basically have to whip it out and piss in this little urinal. There's blokes standing next to you. It's a bit like, yeah, I can't go like that. Like, I'm too close. Like, I have issues with people, like proximity with people anyway. Personal space is something I hold dear. The idea of pissing next to someone is very hard for me, you know. So I have to go in a cubicle, which is fine because, you know, I'd say it's a good chunk of time the cubicle's free. But I'm not on my own with this kind of thing. Other people also like to piss in cubicles, and the problem is if you're in a pub, generally you're having a drink, and so you need to have a piss. But if you then go into, you know, the toilets and there's loads of blokes in there and the cubicle's full, like there's someone in the cubicle, you can't sort of walk in and then walk out again. You have to sort of save face. So basically, I try my hardest to use the urinal. It doesn't work. I can't do it. I can maybe get like a dribble, and that'll be it. And then I have to then hold it, and then hold it and hope that I can hold on for a little bit longer, and that no one will notice me going back in there. Or they might think I've got a coke problem or something like that. But, it's on me. It's a psychological thing and all that. Again, let's say, might be going to therapy. But anyway, the thing is also, there's been some times in my life where public toilets have been absolutely horrifying. I once went into one, and there was basically this guy taking a shit with the door open. I was like, he just sat there, toilet door open, taking a grunting shit, and I'm like, what is this? And I just thought, like, so I unpacked it all. The smell was horrendous, but I was just trying to unpack everything that was going on with it. And it's like, how pissed must he have been to have not bothered shutting the door? Like, that's a little bit of you time, yeah? That's that time when it's basically a little bit of you time, shut the door, lock yourself away, it's fine. Don't share it with people. And the thing is, what's really strange about it is I still see that guy around sometimes. There was like a bit of weird eye contact, and I know I didn't speak to him. I've never spoken to him. I just see him about. I'm thinking, I've seen you take a shit, and that's just a bit unsettling, really. And the thing is, it's like I can't make up my mind if it was on purpose, or anything like that, because he might have been waiting for a mate to walk in, as a joke, like, haha, you saw me take a shit. But, I still find it so strange. In my head, I'm still just, like, what is that? And the other thing also, when it comes to, like, people pissing also, especially in urinals and all that kind of stuff, and there's, like, the weird power stance. Like, there's obviously, everyone knows what the man spread is, like, where basically a man sits on a chair and he literally spreads his legs uncomfortably wide just to be a cock, They also do that at urinals. They'll do it like a power stance, so you can't stand next to them, but they're almost like doing like a weird splits type thing. And it's like, what is this? What is this? It's, yeah. And then also, there's the whole thing about, like, secretly judging people not washing their hands. And it's just like, you're not washing your hands after that? No? I get you're not going to serve me food and all that kind of thing, but, common courtesy, at least a rinse. A quick rinse and a wipe on the trousers. That's all you really need. But one thing I do like about pub toilets is the graffiti. The graffiti is a whole new level in pub toilets. It's just, there's always something good on the walls, and all that. And it's actually quite funny because my local has actually got, now they've started like putting like photographs of their locals in the toilet, and there's a massive, must be like, I say maybe like 3 foot, 4 foot high canvas, beautifully printed canvas of one of their regulars passed out on a park bench. And it's just an amusing image, really. Sort of, you go in not really expecting it, and suddenly like, oh, there's a massive picture of the guy passed out on the park bench and all that. But yeah, it's just actually my local isn't very blokey. Actually, my local is actually a nice, friendly place. It's actually quite a progressive place, the pub I go to, and yeah, it's always spotless, and yeah, it's just a nice one to go to. I may be talking about a very specific chain of pubs, possibly. Just gonna put out there, possibly talking about a certain chain of pubs. Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. All that talking about piss and shit for the episode. I do apologise. But yeah, it is what it is. It's my reality, and I have to deal with it on a daily basis. The stuff that goes through my mind. But anyway, if you want to sort of check out the website to find out all the links to our now there's apparently more than one of me. My website, I've got like the TikTok and the YouTube and Instagram and all that other kind of nonsense. Go to carlversusreality.com. All the links are on there, and support the show. Give it a like, subscribe, and suggest it to friends. If toilet humour is your thing, it's not always like this, by the way. It's just this episode specifically. But anyway, until the next time, take care of yourselves, and ta-ta.